They thought firing me would save them money. Instead, it cost them $2.5 million and nearly shut down the entire operation. I'm Harold Stevens, but everyone calls me Hank. I'm 54 years old, and I just watched 29 years of loyalty get thrown in the trash by a 26-year-old MBA who thought he could run a manufacturing plant like a spreadsheet. Let me tell you how one phone call to OSHA brought a multi-million-dollar factory to its knees. At 5:30 a.m., the Midwest Automotive Parts plant was already humming. The smell of metal shavings and hydraulic fluid filled the air. That's the smell of honest work. I sat in my Ford F-150 in the parking lot, drinking coffee from my thermos and watching the second shift guys heading home. Their faces were tired but satisfied. Good, honest work does that to a man. As plant operations manager, I didn't just work here. I lived and breathed this place. I knew which machines ran hot on humid days, which workers needed extra training on the new equipment, and exactly how many parts we could push through without compromising safety or quality. Most importantly, after 29 years climbing through every position from floor sweeper to management, I held every OSHA certification needed to keep this place running legally. This wasn't just any factory. We manufactured precision transmission housings for 3 major automakers. One defective part could cause a recall affecting thousands of vehicles. One safety violation could shut us down permanently. The responsibility was immense, and I'd earned every bit of respect that came with it. The morning was going smooth until I saw the silver BMW pull into the executive parking spot. Brandon Walsh had arrived. Brandon was CEO William Walsh's son, fresh out of business school with an MBA from some expensive East Coast university and a head full of efficiency theories that looked great on PowerPoint, but had never been tested in the real world. 2 months ago, his father put him in charge as production director to modernize operations and cut costs. The old man meant well. He wanted to prepare his son to eventually take over the company. But William Walsh had worked his way up from the factory floor himself, back in the 70s. He understood that manufacturing wasn't just about numbers on a balance sheet. His son? Not so much. I walked into the main floor, my steel-toed boots clanging on the metal grating. The production line was running at 85% capacity, right where it should be for optimal safety and quality. Our team was producing 180 automotive transmission housings per day, well within our targets and OSHA guidelines. The floor was organized chaos, controlled, purposeful, efficient. Machine operators at their stations, quality control inspectors checking every 10th unit, maintenance crews performing scheduled preventive work. Everyone wore proper safety equipment, everyone followed protocols, and everyone went home with all their fingers intact. That's how we'd operated for 3 decades. "Morning, Hank," called out Danny Rodriguez, our best machine operator. At 24, Danny had the skills of guys twice his age. I'd trained him myself over the past 3 years, taught him not just how to run the equipment, but how to listen to it, how to spot potential problems before they became disasters. "Everything's running smooth," Danny continued, adjusting his safety glasses. "Hydraulics on line 3 are perfect after yesterday's maintenance. Temperature readings are all in the green zone." "Good work, Danny," I said, checking the morning safety log. Every machine operator had to complete a safety checklist before starting production, checking fluid levels, testing emergency stops, verifying guard positions. It was thorough, it was time-consuming, and it had prevented countless accidents over the years. "Remember," I told Danny, "if anything feels off, vibrations, sounds, temperatures, shut it down immediately. No part is worth an accident, and no deadline is worth someone getting hurt." That's when Brandon walked over. He was wearing a pristine button-down shirt, dress slacks, and leather dress shoes, completely inappropriate for a factory floor. No safety glasses, no steel-toed boots, no hard hat, just corporate polish in a blue-collar world. The workers noticed. You could see them exchanging glances, shaking their heads slightly. In a manufacturing environment, how you dress tells everyone whether you belong there or not. Brandon's outfit screamed that he'd never actually worked with his hands, never operated machinery, never understood the daily risks these men and women faced. "Hank, we need to talk," Brandon announced, not even acknowledging Danny or the other workers nearby. His voice carried that particular tone that MBA graduates use when they're about to explain why decades of experience don't matter. "I've been reviewing our efficiency metrics over the weekend," he continued, pulling out his tablet. "We're running way below capacity. According to my analysis, this line should be pushing 250 units per day, not 180. We're leaving 70 units of daily production on the table. I crossed my arms, feeling the familiar weight of responsibility settling on my shoulders. This wasn't the first time we'd had this conversation, and I could see it wasn't going to be the last. Brandon, we run at 180 because that's the safe operational limit established through 29 years of experience and OSHA compliance. Push these machines harder than 85% capacity, and we risk equipment failure, quality defects, or worker injury. Federal safety regulations are very clear on maximum operational parameters. Brandon scoffed. That dismissive sound young people make when they think experience is just another word for being stuck in the past. OSHA regulations are guidelines, Hank. They're minimums, not maximums. I've run the numbers through our new efficiency software. If we increase line speed by 30% and cut the maintenance downtime from 4 hours to 2 hours per week, we can boost profits by $400,000 annually. And when someone gets hurt? I asked, keeping my voice level even though I could feel my blood pressure rising. When we have a catastrophic machine failure that shuts us down for 2 weeks? When we fail a quality audit because we're rushing parts through without proper inspection? When one of our defective housings causes a transmission failure and we're looking at a 1 million vehicle recall? Brandon waved his hand dismissively, like he was swatting away an annoying fly. That's old school thinking, Hank. Worst case scenario analysis instead of profit optimization. You've been here so long you're stuck in outdated safety protocols that were designed for equipment from the 1980s. Modern manufacturing is about efficiency, optimization, and data-driven decision-making. I felt my jaw tighten. This kid was talking about safety protocols that had been written in blood, regulations that existed because people had died, equipment had failed, catastrophically, and companies had learned hard lessons about what happens when you prioritize speed over safety. Brandon, I've been running safe operations here for 29 years. 0 fatalities, minimal accidents, consistent quality ratings that keep our automotive contracts renewed year after year. You've been here 2 months. Exactly my point, he shot back, his voice getting louder and attracting more attention from the workers. 29 years of the same slow, expensive methods. Dad hired me to modernize this place, not maintain the status quo. We're competing against factories in Mexico and China that can produce the same parts for 40% less cost. Danny and the other workers were starting to notice the tension. I could see them slowing their work to listen, their faces showing concern. This wasn't the place for this conversation. Workplace disagreements between management levels shouldn't happen on the factory floor, where it undermines authority and creates uncertainty. Let's take this to my office, I said firmly. We walked across the floor to my office, a glass-walled space that overlooked the main production area. I'd insisted on the windows when they built it 10 years ago because I wanted to see everything that happened on my floor. From my desk, I could spot trouble before it became a crisis. Brandon didn't waste time. He pulled out his tablet, swiping through charts and graphs with the confidence of someone who'd never had to explain to a worker's family why their husband wasn't coming home. I've identified $600,000 in annual savings, he began, turning the screen toward me. Cut maintenance cycles by 40%, increase line speeds to 95% capacity, reduce safety inspections from weekly to monthly, and eliminate redundant quality checks on units 4 through 7 of every batch. I stared at the numbers on his screen. They looked impressive if you didn't understand what they represented in real terms. Those aren't redundant checks, I said firmly. Every one of those protocols exists because of past incidents, near misses, or industry best practices. You cut maintenance cycles, equipment fails unexpectedly. You reduce inspections, problems go undetected until they become catastrophic. You eliminate quality checks, defective parts reach our customers. The insurance covers accidents, Brandon said with the casual indifference of someone who'd never seen industrial equipment malfunction. And our quality rating is so high that we're over-inspecting. What insurance doesn't cover is lost productivity from excessive caution and outdated procedures. I stood up slowly, my hands flat on the desk. This kid was talking about my workers. Good men and women with families, mortgages, kids in college, like they were expendable resources in his efficiency equation. Brandon, you're asking me to violate federal safety regulations and put my personal certification at risk. I won't do it. More importantly, I won't ask my workers to take risks that I'm not willing to take myself. His expression changed. The frustrated amateur was replaced by something colder, more calculating. This was the moment when privilege decides it doesn't need to listen to experience. Then maybe it's time for new management, Brandon said slowly. Someone who understands that this is a business, not a charity for overcautious old-timers who can't adapt to modern methods. The words hung in the air like the smell of burning metal. Sharp, acrid, and dangerous. "You're firing me?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. I could see it in his posture, the way he'd shifted from trying to convince me to simply replacing me. "I'm restructuring for efficiency," Brandon corrected, as if using corporate buzzwords made it less personal. "Your position is being eliminated in favor of a leaner management structure. We'll promote Danny to floor supervisor at $45,000 annually. That's less than half your salary. I'll handle operations management myself with support from our new efficiency software." The irony wasn't lost on me. Danny was a skilled operator, but he didn't have management experience, safety certification, or the authority to sign off on OSHA compliance. Brandon was essentially planning to run a complex manufacturing operation with a computer program and a 24-year-old machinist. "You realize Danny doesn't have the certifications to run this operation?" I asked. "He can learn on the job. We'll get him certified eventually." "Eventually?" "Brandon, you can't operate this facility without proper safety oversight. It's federal law." "We'll manage," he said with the confidence of someone who'd never actually managed anything more complex than a term paper. "Clean out your desk. Security will escort you out in 30 minutes. I looked at him. This privileged kid who'd never worked a real day in his life, about to put 200 workers at risk to pad his quarterly efficiency report and impress his father. "Fine," I said calmly, "if that's how you want to run things." Brandon looked surprised. He'd expected a fight, maybe begging, certainly some recognition of how generous he was being by giving me 30 minutes instead of marching me out immediately. Instead, I just walked to my desk and started collecting my personal items. The personal stuff didn't amount to much. A coffee mug Carol had given me for our 20th anniversary, a photo of us at Danny's wedding last year, a small American flag that had belonged to my father, 29 years of work reduced to a cardboard box that weighed maybe 5 pounds. "I'll need your access cards, keys, and all company certifications," Brandon said, extending his hand like he was doing me a favor by not calling security immediately. I handed over my employee ID, parking pass, office keys, and equipment access cards, but I didn't hand over the OSHA safety certifications. Those weren't company property. They were mine, personally registered and maintained at my own expense for nearly 3 decades. "The safety certifications, too," Brandon insisted. "Can't do that," I said simply, closing the cardboard box. "Those are personal professional certifications registered in my name with the federal government. You'll need to get your own qualified safety manager." "How long does that take?" he asked, and for the first time, I heard a note of uncertainty in his voice. I shrugged, enjoying the moment more than I probably should have. OSHA certification for a facility this size, usually 6 to 8 weeks for the application process, assuming you can find someone qualified who wants the job. Then there's the background check, the facility inspection, the compliance review. Brandon's face went pale. 6 weeks? We can't shut down production for 6 weeks. We have contracts, delivery schedules, payroll. "That's not my problem anymore," I said, picking up my cardboard box. "You're the one with the MBA and the efficiency software. I'm sure you'll figure something out." I walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back. "Oh, and Brandon, you might want to read the federal regulations posted by the main entrance. Section 1910.147 specifically. It's about lockout/tagout procedures, but it also covers who can authorize equipment operation in manufacturing facilities. What does that mean? It means that without a certified safety manager on site, this plant legally cannot operate heavy machinery. Insurance won't cover accidents, OSHA can shut you down immediately, and any worker injured on equipment that's operating without proper oversight can sue both you and the company personally." For the first time since I'd known him, Brandon Walsh looked genuinely scared. I drove home in silence, my hands gripping the steering wheel tighter than necessary. The shame of being fired after 29 years was eating at me, even though I knew I was right. When you've built your identity around being the guy who keeps things running, being told you're no longer needed hits like a physical blow. I pulled into my driveway at 1:15 p.m., wrong time, wrong angle of the sun, Wrong feeling entirely. I was supposed to be supervising the afternoon shift change, making sure the quality control reports were filed, checking that the weekend maintenance schedule was properly coordinated. Carol was waiting on the front porch before I even turned off the engine. After 22 years of marriage, she could read my moods from the way I drove up the street. "They fired you," she said softly as I climbed out of the truck. "Brandon Walsh," I said, pulling my cardboard box from the passenger seat. "Decided I was too expensive and too set in my ways. Wants to increase production by cutting safety protocols and maintenance schedules." Carol's face hardened. She'd taught high school English for 25 years before retiring, and she'd seen plenty of Brandons. Entitled kids convinced their book learning trumped everyone else's experience. "What's he going to do about the safety certifications?" she asked, taking the box from my hands. That's when it hit me. The realization came like cold water in the face. "He can't operate without them," I said slowly. "The OSHA certifications, the equipment maintenance authorizations, the quality assurance protocols, they're all registered under my name and credentials." Carol raised an eyebrow. "So if you're not there to sign off on daily operations..." "The plant shuts down," I finished. "Legally, they can't run production without proper safety oversight." We went inside and I pulled out my filing cabinet. 4 drawers of documentation accumulated over nearly 3 decades. There it was, the foundation of everything Brandon thought he could just replace with software and enthusiasm. OSHA Safety Manager certification, renewed annually at my expense. Equipment inspection authorization, required for all heavy machinery operation. Quality assurance, supervisor license, mandatory for automotive parts manufacturing. Emergency response coordinator certification, federally required. For facilities with more than 50 employees. All in my name, all requiring my personal signature for legal operation. "Carol," I said, looking up from the paperwork, "I think Brandon just made the biggest mistake of his corporate career." The next morning, my phone started ringing at 6:15 a.m. sharp. I was already awake. 29 years of getting up before dawn doesn't disappear overnight. But I let it ring. It was Danny. "Hank, where are you?" His voice was stressed, confused. "The morning safety checklist hasn't been signed off. The line supervisors are asking what to do. Brandon isn't here yet, and nobody else has authorization to approve startup procedures." I felt a grim satisfaction settling in my chest like a warm cup of coffee. "Danny, I don't work there anymore, remember? Brandon eliminated my position yesterday, but he doesn't have safety certification. The OSHA poster by the time clock says all morning inspections must be signed by a certified manager before production can begin." "That's correct federal regulation," I confirmed. "Tell the crew to follow proper protocols. No certified safety manager on duty, no production startup." "What am I supposed to tell everyone? We've got 200 people clocked in with nothing to do. Tell them to wait for Brandon. He's the one with all the answers now." An hour later, Brandon called. His voice had lost all its MBA confidence. "Hank, get down here right now. The production line is shut down. The workers say they need safety sign-off before starting equipment, and I don't have the right certifications." "That's federal law, Brandon," I explained patiently, like I was talking to a child who just discovered that actions have consequences. "OSHA requires certified safety oversight for all manufacturing operations. Since you eliminated my position, you need to find a replacement with proper credentials. Just come in and sign the paperwork today. I'll pay you consulting fees." "Can't do that. I'm no longer an employee, so I can't legally take responsibility for safety compliance, insurance and liability issues. If something goes wrong and I'm not officially on staff, both of us could face criminal charges." There was a long silence on the line. I could almost hear him frantically thinking through his options, none of which were good. "How long does it take to get someone certified?" Brandon asked, his voice much smaller than it had been yesterday. "Like I told you yesterday, 6 to 8 weeks minimum for the application process. Assuming you start today and can find someone qualified who actually wants the job, which might be difficult given what happened to the last safety manager. We can't shut down for 6 weeks. Do you have any idea what that costs? Daily operating expenses, contract penalties, customer confidence." "Then you shouldn't have fired your safety manager," I said simply, and hung up. By noon, word was spreading through the local manufacturing community. Plant workers talk to workers at other facilities. Vendors share information. Safety inspectors know each other. The story of Brandon Walsh firing a 29-year veteran and then discovering he couldn't legally operate without him was becoming legend. The real blow came at 2:30 p.m. when George Sullivan called me. George was our former safety compliance manager who'd moved to OSHA's regional office 3 years ago. We'd worked together for over a decade, and he understood manufacturing safety better than anyone I knew. "Hank, I just got off the phone with our complaint hotline. Someone filed a report about your plant operating without proper safety oversight. They're sending a full inspection team tomorrow morning." I hadn't filed that complaint, but I suspected one of the workers had. These guys understood safety. They'd seen what happened when corners got cut at other facilities. A crushed hand here, a back injury there, and eventually someone doesn't go home to their family. "What's the penalty for operating without proper certification?" I asked, though I already knew the general range. For a facility that size with automotive contracts, $50,000 per day, base fine plus immediate shutdown until compliance is restored. If they find actual safety violations during inspection, we're looking at $500,000 minimum, possibly more depending on severity. And if someone had been injured during unauthorized operation, George's voice turned grim. Criminal negligence charges against whoever authorized the operation. Both the individual manager and the company could face federal prosecution. The next morning, I sat in my living room drinking coffee and watching the OSHA inspection vehicles pull into the plant parking lot. 3 white government SUVs, each loaded with inspectors carrying clipboards, cameras, and measuring equipment. My phone was buzzing constantly. Brandon, his father, even some of the workers asking what was happening. I ignored most of them, but I did answer when Danny called. "Hank, it's chaos. Here. OSHA inspectors are everywhere, measuring everything, taking photos. Brandon looks like he's going to throw up. They found out he actually tried to run production for 2 hours yesterday afternoon without any safety oversight." "He what?" "Yeah. He ordered Danny to start up line 2 around 3 p.m., said he'd take responsibility. Danny refused, but apparently Brandon got one of the temp workers to operate the equipment. No safety checks, no proper startup procedures." My blood ran cold. Brandon hadn't just made a bureaucratic mistake. He'd actively endangered people's lives. Was anyone hurt? No, but that's just luck. The hydraulic pressure sensor on line 2 had been showing irregular readings all week. If that system had failed with someone operating the equipment improperly, I didn't need Danny to finish that sentence. Hydraulic failures can be catastrophic. Thousands of pounds of pressure suddenly released can kill someone instantly. By 4 p.m., the news broke. OSHA had found multiple severe violations: operating heavy machinery without certified oversight, inadequate safety procedures during equipment startup, failure to maintain required inspection logs, and most seriously, evidence that management had deliberately circumvented safety protocols to maintain production. The fine was $625,000. The plant was ordered to cease all operations until proper safety management was in place and all equipment was recertified. But the financial penalty was just the beginning. During their investigation, OSHA discovered that Brandon had implemented his efficiency improvements during the brief periods when he'd managed to get equipment running. He'd increased line speeds beyond manufacturer specifications, skipped routine maintenance checks, and had workers operating machinery for extended periods without proper rest breaks. The investigators found stress fractures in 2 major pieces of equipment, damage that could have led to catastrophic failure. If those machines had broken down during operation, the results could have been fatal. The story hit the local news that evening and the trade publications by the next morning. Local auto parts plant fined over $600,000 for safety violations. William Walsh's company, which had built its reputation over 4 decades on quality manufacturing and worker safety, was suddenly facing public scrutiny and potential lawsuits. My phone rang at 8 p.m. It was William Walsh himself. "Hank, I need you to come back immediately. Brandon has been terminated and is facing potential criminal charges. The board is demanding answers. Our insurance company is threatening to drop coverage, and we have OSHA breathing down our necks." "Where does that leave the plant?" "Dead in the water until we can prove we have proper safety management in place. OSHA won't even let us turn on the lights in the production area until we demonstrate compliance." I looked at Carol, who was listening from the kitchen. She gave me a small nod. "What are you offering?" I asked. "Plant safety director position. $105,000 annual salary. That's $20,000 more than you were making. Complete authority over all safety and production protocols. Direct report to me, not through any other management layer. And Hank, I'm deeply sorry. I should never have let an inexperienced manager override 3 decades of proven safety leadership. I'll need a formal apology to the workers and a written guarantee that safety protocols will never again be compromised for production targets. Done. Can you start Monday? I'll be there. 6 months later, the plant was not only running better than ever, it had become a model facility that other companies sent their managers to study. We'd implemented new safety training programs, upgraded our equipment maintenance protocols, and actually increased productivity by 15% through sustainable, properly planned efficiency improvements. Brandon never returned to manufacturing. The OSHA violations, combined with the financial losses and potential criminal liability, ended his corporate career. Last I heard, he was working as a financial analyst in another state, far from any factory floor. The workers welcomed me back with genuine relief and respect. Danny told me later that during those few chaotic days, everyone had been scared. They knew the risks of operating without proper safety oversight, but they also needed their paychecks. "You saved our lives," Danny said simply. "Those machines with the stress fractures? I was scheduled to operate line 2 the day OSHA shut us down. If that hydraulic system had failed..." A year later, our plant received an OSHA Recognition Award for Safety Excellence, the first manufacturing facility in our region to earn that designation. At the ceremony, William Walsh publicly acknowledged that experience and institutional knowledge matter more than MBA theories when it comes to protecting workers and maintaining sustainable operations. I'm still here, still getting up at 5 a.m., still making sure everyone goes home safe every day. Those OSHA certifications hang on my office wall now, along with the Safety Excellence Award and a photo from Danny's promotion to Assistant Safety Manager. The lesson is simple: respect experience, never compromise on safety, and understand that in manufacturing, there are no shortcuts that don't eventually cost more than they save. When someone with an MBA thinks they can replace decades of hands-on knowledge with spreadsheet calculations, sometimes the best thing you can do is step back and let them learn why those safety protocols exist in the first place. Just make sure you're not in the building when the lesson begins. And more importantly, make sure you're the one they call when they're ready to do things right again. Your signature on a document isn't just paperwork. It's your professional reputation and legal liability. So never let someone else control what you're responsible for without having the authority to manage the risk. In any industry where safety matters, the person with the most experience isn't expensive. They're the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever have, because the cost of replacing decades of knowledge is always higher than the cost of respecting it.